Hello, friends. This is Jessica Libor with Era Contemporary. I am so excited today because we are going to be doing an interview with one of our artists who is in our upcoming show, the new Pre-Raphaelites, and that is Arthur Haywood. Arthur is a really, really talented artist, and he's joining us right now. Yes. All right, let's do this. Okay, it's connecting. Yay!
There we go.
Awesome. Technology is awesome.
Great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Okay, so welcome everyone to the Arthur Haywood Show. My name is Jessica Libor, and I am the curator for Era Contemporary. We are having this amazing exhibition coming up. It's called The New Pre-Raphaelites, and it's inspired by the original Pre-Raphaelites, which were a group of English artists who kind of overturned the traditional salon, and they were very interested in painting things that were very very close to their heart and close to nature and close to their imagination. And so this was rejected by the salons a lot of times because the salons at the time were all about these grand history paintings. And so these artists created this very beautiful, intimate world. And so that's what we're recreating today in this art show. And we have some amazing artists who are part of it. If you have not taken a look, we have a new website. You can go take a look at it at eracontemporary.com, and you can actually see most of the works that are in the exhibition. They're all there for sale. You can actually purchase right off the website. So, but we're having our live exhibition with all the artists present talking about their work, and that is going to be on September 25th at 6 p.m. So tickets to that are free. So if you would like to, register for that, you can just go to the link in bio at Era Contemporary, or just eracontemporary.com. So you're all welcome to attend this amazing exhibition. There's over 40 artists who are involved, and then there's over 70 artworks that are going to be on display. So it's a very full show. It's really awesome, and we're so lucky to have Arthur here. Arthur
Oh,
is a
thank you.
Philadelphia-based artist, and he's just so talented, and we're just going to
Thanks.
get into it with him.
Yeah,
But
thanks so much for having me and having me part of this wonderful show.
mm-hmm. And are you in your studio, Arthur?
Yep, I'm in my studio right now. Behind me is a mural that I recently completed for the middle school library the middle school that I went to, Elkins Park School, for their library, which I will be
That's
installing
amazing.
there next week.
Very
Yeah,
cool. Wow.
thank you. Yeah, it's a sort of a Harry Potter theme of a student. There's like pages that she's releasing
Mm-hmm.
magically from a book, and there's like a
Oh,
little
wow.
Hogwarts castle in the background. So
And look at that dragon.
that's
That's
the
amazing.
theme for it.
So cool. So,
Thanks.
Arthur, tell us about your piece that is in the exhibition for the new Pre-Raphaelites.
Yeah, so the piece that I have in the exhibition is based off of one of my favorite books, The Silmarillion by J.R.R. Tolkien. And
Mm-hmm.
it shows a moment of rebirth in the book. So after Melkor, who was one of the evil beings in that book, partnered with this evil spider Ungoliant to destroy the world of Valinor with darkness, there was a rebirth when the person who's seen in my painting, Yavanna Kamatari, sang a song, and her song brought forth one more flower of light from the tree of Valinor and brought one more fruit of light from the tree of Valinor. And those two were preserved, the flowers preserved as the moon, and the golden fruit of Laurelin, the tree Laurelin, was preserved as the sun to continue lighting the world of Valinor. So it was a theme of rebirth that really touched me
Mm-hmm.
in that book, The Silmarillion, and I wanted to depict that by showing Yavanna singing and then the flowers emerging and coming towards her out of the darkness.
So beautiful. And
Mm.
you really captured like the joy in that moment, like in her eyes and everything. It's really a
Oh,
beautiful
thanks.
thing. Yeah, I love
Yeah,
it.
thanks. Yeah, I feel like Tolkien is very poetic. That's one of the
Mm-hmm.
things that draws me to his books.
Mm-hmm.
The way he describes things is not very just straightforward. It's very poetic in terms of thinking of the light from these
Mm-hmm.
trees bringing brightness to the world. It's very magical, and that's what
Mm-hmm.
draws me to a lot of Tolkien's books and his stories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I really admire about your work. It's so
Thank-
imaginative, and it seems to really focus on the power of literature. Can you talk a little
Mhm.
bit about that?
Yeah, so one of the things that I like to touch upon in my work is bringing a lot of these stories that I love to life,
Mm-hmm.
and in a way that's important to me because a lot of my engagement with reading from an early age was based upon reading books that had covers that I really liked.
Mm-hmm.
So books from Harry Potter to Lord of the Rings, they all had these awesome covers that showed me these exciting moments in the story of somebody's like flying on a broomstick, and then I want to learn more about what's happening in the story. So I use my art to show exciting moments about stories to engage other people, especially younger people, in wanting to learn more about these stories and get engaged with reading, which is really important for young people to be able to become literate, to create opportunities for themselves, and even if they're already literate, to just continue learning. So
Yeah.
I use my art to encourage people to learn more about these stories, and also it's just a way to celebrate a lot of these stories that I already love. So another avenue that I've been pursuing is pursuing book cover illustration. I've already done a magazine cover for Space and Time magazine, but I'm also pursuing doing book covers by reaching out to different art directors, sending
Mm-hmm.
out interest to see if there are projects that I can get involved with, especially for the
Wow.
science fiction and fantasy
Go
genre,
ahead.
which excites me the most.
Yeah, I could definitely see that with your work. I think it'd be perfect, especially for like stuff like the
Thanks.
Harry Potter or there's new books coming out every
Mhm.
day, and I think especially
Oh,
during
yeah.
this time, like this year especially, like people are reading more because, you know, we're being at home more,
Mhm.
um and don't you also have a book that you wrote and illustrated yourself, right?
Right, correct. Yeah, I wrote a book about the ancient library of Alexandria in Egypt. And it's a
Mm-hmm.
more of an overview of the different scholars that were involved in the library and the diverse range of scholars from that library in terms of what they discovered from mathematics, science, literature, and astronomy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an overview of all these different scholars because when I was first introduced to ancient Egypt, I feel in middle school, it was mostly hieroglyphics and pyramids. But a lot of these people, they were also mathematicians and architects and astronomers. So I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to provide that different view of ancient Egypt and to show how diverse it really was, especially in the Library of Alexandria. People came from all across the Mediterranean region to come and study. So I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to share that view with especially younger people as they're being introduced to ancient Egypt.
Yeah, oh, I love that. And
Oh,
yeah,
thanks.
it's really that's really great.
Thank
So
you.
tell us a little bit about your background,
Mhm.
like kind of where you grew up and then how you got interested in art and then some of your education.
Yeah, so yeah, I grew up in the Pennsylvania area and just got introduced to art from an early age of taking art classes at art centers. And I think I took art classes at Tyler in Philadelphia when I was
Hmm.
younger, and also Papa. And from there, just continued to develop my skills and my interests. I went to art college at the Maryland Institute College of Art for illustration. And so over there, I got a lot of feedback on storytelling and the business of illustration in terms of contacting art directors and deadlines and things like that.
Hmm.
And then I wanted to establish more of a realistic technique and aesthetic to my work. So I
Hmm.
was, then went to study at the Cambridge Street Studios, which was a small atelier in
Hmm.
Philadelphia, where I studied classical drawing from the
Hmm.
live figure and from plaster casts. So for there, I was able to develop more of a foundation, a step-by-step process in terms of making things look three-dimensional and realistic, which was an aesthetic I really wanted to add to my work to make these stories appear believable. And then after that, I only got into about the drawing portion of study at the Cambridge Street Studios before the school shut down. So I
Mm,
wanted to also get familiar with the classical painting process. So then
mhm.
I was fortunate to study at Grand Central Atelier in New York for 3 years,
Great.
where I was able to go through that step-by-step process with great teachers and students to
Mhm,
develop my technical skills in terms
mhm.
of making figures and objects look more three-dimensional and realistic in value and in color. And
That's where
then,
we met.
yep, exactly, in Greg's class.
Yes. Um, yes, that was an awesome class. I missed classes there actually.
Yeah, it
I think
was.
that they're doing some smaller classes like in person this year, but um,
Oh,
yeah, yeah. But a lot of stuff that they're doing online. That's a great school though. I love that
yeah,
school. Yeah. And
it
we
really
actually
is. It's a great place to learn.
it is. There's actually several artists from Grand Central Atelier who are also in the school in the new Pre-Raphaelites. So
Yep, I
we have
saw. That's great.
yeah, I'm sure you recognize some of them, but
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. So we're really excited about that. But that's
Yeah.
great. So
Mhm.
so what are kind of some of your aspirations for this year?
Mhm.
How has the pandemic affected your art career, would you say?
Hmm. Let's see. I'll go to the second question. Well, let's see. I'll go to the first question first. So for this year, my plans are I received a fellowship in Paris, the Harry Haywood Scholarship,
Mm,
to create mural
amazing.
paintings at the Fondation des Etats Unis for a high school lycée Paul Lefebvre. So the
Hmm.
fellowship is going to be from October 1st until the end of June. So I will be there in
Wow.
Paris working with the students and also painting the mural in my studio. And the theme for the project is the same theme of stories coming to life and working with these students to show a diverse range of students and
So
the stories that
amazing.
have engaged them. Thank you. So I'm really fortunate for that opportunity. And then in terms of how the pandemic has affected me, it just made me, I guess for one thing, just more sensitive to what the issues that a broad range of people are dealing with. It just brought even more
Hmm.
to the light. In that
Hmm.
terms of respect, was really um, very sad in a lot of ways, but it's also just made me more sensitive to what a lot of people are dealing with.
Yeah.
And then in terms of, I guess, how it's affected my art practice, it's so far for the summer, a lot of the projects that I was working on have been established prior to the pandemic happening. So I was
Hmm.
mostly in my studio or my room, just painting anyway. So I was working on a
Hmm.
commission, a private
Hmm.
commission that had already been established prior to the pandemic, and it was a long-term project, which was
Hmm.
finished during the summer. And then there was also a mural for SEPTA that had already been established prior to the pandemic, which was another long-term project, which I completed during the summer. And
Hmm.
then there was the mural behind me for the Elkins Park School Library, which is also established prior to the pandemic, that I
Hmm.
completed during the summer. So a lot of the projects that was working on during the summer they were long-term projects that I already had established prior to the pandemic. And so I was mostly just in my studio
Hmm.
working on those. I guess I would say another way that it's affected me is that a lot of my references now I just beginning from public domain images. So for example, the reference of the woman for the Valinor painting that's in the new Pre-Raphaelite show was a reference that I got from a public domain image from the internet. So as opposed to going out to shoot different models, I've been getting a
Hmm.
lot of my figure references from public domain images um,
Hmm.
in that way. So those are a few ways that the pandemic has affected me.
Hmm.
I just know a few like family members or relatives or uh, friends of relatives who have gotten COVID. and just seeing what they were going through. It affected me in that way. But
Yeah.
those are a few of the ways I would say it's affected me. How about you?
Oh, so quick question, and then I'll answer that. Are you still going to be able to go to Paris and do your residency?
Yeah, fortunately, the fellowship is still scheduled, and got my visa, student visa, last
Okay.
week. So, yep, I'm
Okay.
still scheduled for that.
Oh,
Fortunately.
that's good. That's good. Yeah, because that's a,
Mhm.
I mean, that's a big thing to change if that were not to not to happen. That's a big chunk of your year.
Yeah,
Um,
very fortunate.
yeah. Thank you for sharing, Arthur.
No, thank you.
For me, so for those of you who are watching, I'm the director of Era Contemporary, but I'm also an artist. Um, so I have been creating a lot. I've been doing these online shows. So I did these two shows, one in May and one in August, and I did a series of work based on. It was based on the idea of people taking selfies. So
Hmm.
kind of like with the idea of isolation, so many people are in isolation right now, or especially during the spring when, a lot of people were really scared.
Hmm.
Everybody was like in a lot of isolation. And so I just felt like I wanted to create something that was kind of about the idea of the selfie and like, kind of bearing witness to yourself. Like, um, you know, I had the idea of like, well, does it even matter if you like, get ready every day? Like, do you get ready just for yourself or do you get ready for
Mm.
other people?
Hmm.
And so like these pictures that these women were taking, like it was based off of like, the selfies of women you see on Instagram and stuff. And I was just kind of like, I thought that it was interesting, the idea of like,
Hmm.
you take pictures of yourself. Do you take them for yourself? Do you take them for other people?
Hmm.
Um, so there was just a whole bunch of psychological things that I was interested in there. So I
Hmm.
created these, selfie series. And then the more that I did, the more imaginative they got. And then like
Hmm.
the mirrors that they were taking the selfies in became these like magical portals to like another world. And
Yep.
so I did that. I worked on that. And
Yep.
then my second show was about the ocean. So like the
Hmm.
mythical sea. So it's about the myths and legends of the ocean and the sea. So that was really fun to work on. And my centerpiece piece, I sold that, which I was really
Oh,
excited about,
great.
called The Queen of the Sea. But
Hmm.
unfortunately, it is lost in the mail right now.
Oh,
I
is there
know.
any way to track it, or is it
Yeah, I
completely
mean, like,
gone?
yeah, it's a whole thing. Like, we've tracked it and it stopped tracking at this one location. And so we've put in like, lots of requests for them to find it. But it's been like,
Hmm.
it's been almost 2 weeks. So,
Hmm.
I call them every day and
Hmm.
I just hope that it'll be found at this point. Luckily, I insured
Yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah,
So
that's good. At least.
yeah, but still, like, like losing a painting is like
Hmm.
you just don't like to think of it in a warehouse somewhere, right? Um,
Exactly.
yeah. So, but anyway, the shows went very well, and then I've been
Hmm.
curating this era contemporary show, and
Hmm.
so I've just been keeping busy. I mean, the life of an artist is kind of solitary for the most part because
Hmm.
we work alone and um, not too much changes except for us getting together with friends and family and extended family and stuff.
True.
Um,
Hmm.
so I do miss like going out to different art shows and like seeing people and socializing in that way. Um,
Yeah.
and I think that that will come back. Um, but I think it's just like figuring out different ways to connect with people. And I think technology is a really great way to like use that to connect with people just as a tool, like what
Hmm.
we're doing right now.
Yep.
Um, so I've really been putting more focus on connecting with people over technology.
Hmm.
specifically around art. So that's what, so we're doing this virtual show for the new Pre-Raphaelites, and that's what I really hope what we can accomplish with that is a real sense of community